welcome to the April safety meeting. Once again, we're going to do it early because Casey's out trying to acquire another license. I think he's working on a spaceship driver license this week. So we'll get to it. For the airplanes, so far 28 Fox is flying. There's nothing to brief. 60 Romeo is down right now. It failed its mag check, so Chris is working on that. 50 Echo is still flying good. The attitude indicator is still on up, so we're going to change that on the next 50 hour, some downtime. 84 November is still down. It'll be down for April. 273, nothing to brief. 011, there's nothing to brief. And 63 Tango, during the 100-hour check, we found that the rudder trim was out of rig, so Chris has been working on that to get it back up. For the discussion items today, the flight hours for March, we flew 90.6 hours total, which was about 30 hours more than I projected. So for everybody who flew, thank you. We had some pretty tough weather. We had 100.5 hours of maintenance, so we need to thank Chris for everything he's doing. He's doing all the 50 and the 100 hours, plus all the write-ups that you guys write up, he's trying to get fixed and take care of. We had 74.8 hours of instruction this month, so I'd like to thank all my instructors and all the students. We had 35 flights canceled this month for weather, and we also had 12 days of no flying conditions. So on the briefing points, once again, can you make sure you're current for your flight prior to the weekend? You guys have been doing a great job so far, and we haven't had too many phone calls saying that you're not compatible in the computer to fly. So this book that I'm holding here, it's the pilot information file, or what you guys used to know as the safetygram folder. We had to put some more tabs in it because the Air Force says I have to. So make sure you take a look at this prior to you flying. It's right beside the dispatch computer. I put a lot of local currency items in there for, not currency items, but local items when we had the GPS was out for 1st of April to the 3rd or whatever that was. So that goes in here. Whenever I get an email from Mr. Williams, the airfield manager, I'll put those in here. So a lot of it has to do with a lot of local currency items. If the Air Force sends something, you'll get that in here. So once again, just please review this prior to your flight. Thank you. Next. So as you know, it's April, and as you can see, the flowers are blooming and the birds are flying. So please take a little extra time on your pre-flight to look for birds. Chris is going to show you here in a few minutes the hot places for the birds to hang out. He's coming in every day and pulling nests out of all the airplanes. So can you help him by airplane? Make sure you look for the birds, please. So the places you really want to look are the inlet, the cow flap, and the tail section, and the nose landing gear area for the twigs. Chris will let you know more about that. Once again, please use your checklist for securing and parking the aircraft. We're still finding doors open, gas caps loose or off, and PDOT tube covers still not installed. So I'll brief that until we don't have an incident during the month. Once again, we're still got COVID protocol going on, so please wipe down your aircraft with the disinfectant wipes, and if the aircraft's out, please let me know. Today's safety brief is going to be from Casey. He's going to give you, we're going to talk about TFRs, April weather, and your personal mins. So with that, here's Casey.
TFRs, again, I'm going to try to send out emails. Sound like everybody liked that, so we'll try to send out those TFRs as they come out. Some of you get emails a little bit quicker than I do, depending on what list you're on. Like Wilmington, the airport, they have their own distro list, so if you get something ahead of time and you want to send them my way, that's no problem. Weather's getting nicer. It's April now, so keep an eye out for that Rehoboth TFR. I'm not sure when the Bidens are going to want to go to Rehoboth, but we'll let you know. Hopefully we'll get a heads up. April weather, so what is it? April showers bring May flowers. Is that what they say?
Supposedly.
So April, it's becoming spring. We're going to have rain, hopefully, and a little bit less of the snow and cold weather. But with that, we're going to have IFR weather. So we'll get to the questions in a minute, but essentially what we want to hit here is every pilot should have their own personal minimum. So one, you want to make sure they're in line with what the Aero Club says, and two, if you're not comfortable, don't go. Lastly, look for birds. If we don't cover that enough today, we need you to look for birds. It's April, nesting season, and birds can cause a big issue, be it binding of control surfaces, and now you don't have elevator control or rudder control, something gets jammed in flight, or birds nesting inside the engine bay, and now we have smoke coming in, we got a fire going on. So be certain that you look for birds, very important. One thing that I want to hit with that though is a tap test. Some of you guys will look inside the horizontal stabilizer and see if there's birds in there, but an easy way to do is just to tap along the ribs in there, and sometimes you'll hear birds moving around actually. So a quick tap test might do you good with that. For our questions, what are the primary areas to look for birds? Mac covered that already, and Chris is going to cover that again. My questions for you, this is the first one's for the IMC pilots or IFR pilots. It's in the SOP, but the question is, how many hours must a PIC have in actual IMC conditions, not simulated, but actual IMC, to be authorized to depart when the ceilings are lower than the lowest compatible circling minima at the departure airport? So what I need to know is how many hours do you need to have in order to depart in line with your personal minimums at an airport where the weather is below the lowest compatible circling minima. For here at Dover, it's 500 feet. It's the lowest circling minima. So for you to depart when the weather is, say, a 400-foot ceiling, you need to have 100 hours in actual IMC conditions. That's not with foggles, it's not simulated, that's in the weather. So you need to have that in your logbook. You VFR pilots might not know that, student pilots included. So the question for you and the IFR pilots need to answer this as well, is what are the cloud clearance and visibility requirements for Class Delta airspace? So what I need to know is cloud clearance. You know, we talked about that, what is it, 500, 1,000, 1,500, and 3 miles or 5 miles. Then you have special VFR, which is just clear clouds and 1 mile visibility. So there's a whole chart for that. But I want to know Class Delta airspace visibility and cloud clearance requirements. So you can go ahead and email those to the org box at the end of the video. I'll put it up again with the email for the Aero Club.
All right, so as Max said, I've been doing what I can to try and stay on top of the nesting. I come out each morning, do my walk around. He's already talked about some of the primary areas where you're going to find the nests. First and foremost, when you pull your inlet plugs, any signs, straw, grass, what have you, you're going to want to delve into that. That's the first indication that I found, especially I think it was 2/8 Fox the other day. I pulled about 4 birds' nests out of there. Anything that you find, you're going to find droppings. You can already see that the straw and stuff from where I pulled a nest out of 273 here this morning. That's your first indication that you're going to have to give the plane a better look over. Up into the nose. The other one is along the seam for your cowl here, you'll find straws and grass, feathers even sticking out of there. That's a good indication that you need to do a bit more thorough investigation, or get a hold of me to pull the cowl and dig them out of there. I've found feathers and grass around the leading edge here, and then of course back here on the horizontal and vertical stabilizers, between where your flight control surfaces are, there's lightning holes inside of here, and the birds will get in there and make their nests. And as Casey said, if you give a tap test and you hear anything, well, you more than likely got some birds on your hand. And same with the cows. That's another thing, you know, each morning I tap the cow. There's been numerous times where birds have flown out of the nose. So as they said, it's important right now. We don't want any binding flight control surfaces, and we especially don't want engine fires from the straw and the grass that gets caught in there. So make sure you're doing a thorough investigation with your pre-flight. I think that covers it.
Thanks to Chris for taking care of the birds and all the airplanes. Thanks to the members for taking care of the Aero Club. So with that, I guess we'll see you guys in May. So until then, fly safe.